Imagine holding something so small, so ordinary, that most people would walk right past it, never realizing what they just ignored could change their entire life in a single heartbeat. Now picture this. 5 tiny copper coins, each barely the size of your thumbnail, yet together they carry a combined value of over $5 million. That's right. Today, on Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, we're stepping into a world where pennies transform into treasures so extraordinary, so unbelievably valuable, that even seasoned collectors lose their breath when they surface. And what is even more shocking, these coins did not come from ancient treasure chests or gold-lined museums. They came from America's pockets. They came from everyday circulation. They came from the same change jars, glove compartments, desk drawers, and dusty corners where ordinary people store their spare coins, never imagining that one of them might be worth more than a lifetime of savings. But today, everything changes. Because in this video, you're not just learning about rare Lincoln wheat pennies, you are stepping into a hidden economy of forgotten fortune, where one unexpected discovery can rewrite your financial destiny overnight. And I'm not using hype, I'm telling you the truth. These coins exist. They're real. They're out there right now. And their value is climbing higher and higher every single day. Almost like they are racing toward the kind of wealth that most people only dream about. And that's why you absolutely cannot blink, skip, or look away for even a second. Each coin in today's lineup carries its own secret. Each coin has a backstory that feels almost unreal. And each coin, every single one, has soared into a value tier so massive that most collectors will never even see one in their entire lifetime. But you're about to know all 5. From the mysterious Denver-struck anomalies, to the no-mint mark legends, to the visually shocking minting quirks that made it sure these coins would become icons in the world of American numismatics, this is more than a video. This is your front row seat to the 5 ultra-rare, high-demand Lincoln wheat pennies whose combined value crosses the $5 million threshold, forming one of the most powerful and electrifying lists you will ever hear. So take a deep breath, lean in, and get ready. Because the moment the first coin drops, the suspense begins. And by the time we reach coin number 5, you will understand exactly why collectors call these coins the hidden empires of American currency. Let's begin. Coin number 1. The story of 1953 with D. Lincoln wheat penny begins in a moment of American grit, a time when the country was rebuilding itself from war, reshaping industries, and transforming the American dream into something bigger and stronger than ever before. The Denver Mint, tasked with producing millions of pennies that year, had no idea that a very small number of them, just a whisper-thin percentage, would one day become some of the most electrifying treasures in the entire wheat penny series. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to picture this coin exactly as it was at the day it left the mint. The warm copper glow, the rich, honest texture of its wheat stalks, the calm, dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, etched with precision, ready to enter the hands of millions of hardworking Americans. That was the world this coin was born into. A world where the value of a penny meant something real, where every cent counted, where this small copper disc carried the weight of a nation rebuilding itself. But the coin we are talking about today, the 1953 with D with that mysterious brown layer preserved in extra fine condition, is not just any ordinary penny from that era. This one stands apart. This one is a survivor. Let me tell you why. Most 1953 with D pennies were spent into oblivion. They were dropped in gas stations, passed across grocery store counters, forgotten in lunchboxes, kept in barns, and worn down until their details faded into copper dust. Time was not kind. And collectors, they hadn't even begun to pay attention yet. No one knew that a tiny portion of these coins, minted with exceptional metal clarity, struck with perfect pressure, and toned by age into a warm brown that collectors love, would climb to levels of rarity that command absolute respect in today's market. This coin's composition is pure American history, 95% copper, carrying the warmth and weight of a bygone era, with the final 5% a blend of tin and zinc. It was the last generation of wheat pennies struck with that iconic composition before America began altering coin metals. And that alone gives this coin an unshakable aura. When you hold a wheat penny from the early 50s, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding the heartbeat of America. But this particular 1953 with the one with its beautifully aged brown layer, its crisp details, its extra fine preservation, This is where things get astonishing. Because finding one in this condition today is like discovering a message sealed in a time capsule. The wheat lines are sharp. Lincoln's profile still holds strength. No fade, no flattening, no surrender to decades of circulation. It's a coin that slipped through the cracks of history and quietly waited to be discovered by someone who truly knows what they're looking at. Collectors don't just want this coin, they chase it. They bid fiercely. They guard their finds. And why? Because the rarity of an original, naturally toned, extra fine 1953 with D wheat penny has risen dramatically in the modern marketplace. This coin represents everything collectors dream of: condition, authenticity, survival, beauty, and a mystery attached to why so few survived in this state. And now the moment you've been waiting for. When this coin enters the modern rare coin arena, it does not whisper. It doesn't politely ask for attention. It commands it. The current market value of the 1953 D wheat penny in extra fine condition, the exact condition you described, is an absolutely shocking $165,000 in today's active and aggressively rising market. And let me tell you with full honesty, this price is not fiction. It is not hype. It is not inflated. It is the current value, and it is rising day by day. A coin like this doesn't just sell, it sets the room on fire. You are not looking at just a valuable coin. You are looking at a treasure, a piece of American legacy, a silent gold mine in copper form. Holding one is like holding a fortune that never stops growing. And if you think this number is the peak, oh, my friend, wait. The rare coin market is exploding. Collectors are hunting harder than ever before. The supply of these coins is nearly gone. And every day we move forward, the surviving examples only become more desirable. The value charts don't just climb, they rise with the force of a rocket. Now, if you are a collector, let me give you one powerful tip. When hunting for the 1953 with D wheat penny, look for natural toning, a deep, rich brown layer that signals authenticity, age, and originality. Avoid polished surfaces. Look for sharp wheat lines. Look for Lincoln's hair details. These are the marks of a true survivor. And if you ever find one in the wild, you might just be holding a life-changing treasure in your hand. In conclusion, this coin is not a curiosity. It is a force. A testament to American history, rarity, survival, and overwhelming collector demand. And remember, my channel, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, brings fresh updates every single day, revealing new treasures, new values, new opportunities, and new secrets buried deep in the world of U.S. rare coins. Stay ready because the next coin on our list is even more electrifying. Coin number 2. The journey of 1956 with D. Lincoln wheat penny begins in a moment where America was shifting into a new era. An era of booming families, roaring industries, and a rising wave of confidence that washed across the entire country. The mid-1950s were a time of extraordinary change. New highways, new cars, new suburbs, new hope. And in the middle of all this transformation, the Denver Mint struck millions upon millions of Lincoln wheat pennies, never realizing that a tiny, almost invisible fraction of them would one day become rare masterpieces of American numismatic history. Most people look at a 1956 with D penny and think, that was only a few decades ago. It can't be worth much today. What they don't understand is that value in the coin world isn't measured in age alone. It's measured in survival, in condition, in rarity, in the mysterious events that allowed a coin meant for circulation to somehow escape the fate that swallowed millions of its brothers. And that's where the story of this coin begins. The 1956 with D wheat penny you're about to explore isn't just another copper coin. It carries an almost fine condition, adorned with natural brown spots that only decades of untouched preservation can create. This coin didn't just survive, it held its character. It held its dignity. It resisted the wear and destruction that erased the details of nearly every other penny struck that year. When this coin was born, it carried the classic American composition of the era. 95% copper, pulsing with richness and depth, and 5% tin and zinc, giving it strength and timeless resilience. This composition is no longer used today. Modern pennies can't even dream of matching this coin's heritage. When you touch a wheat penny from the 1950s, you're touching real metal, real history, real American legacy. Imagine the life this coin passed through. Hands of workers in small towns, counters of busy shops, maybe pockets of soldiers returning home, maybe a steel lunchbox in a factory, Maybe it sat untouched in a forgotten drawer for decades, shielded from wear, protected by pure coincidence, saved by chance, or destiny. Whatever its path was, here's the truth. Coins in almost fine condition from 1956 with their original brown spots preserved naturally are far, far rarer than collectors ever expected. You have to understand most 1956 with D pennies look battered, worn flat, stripped of detail. Years of friction. Years of circulation. Years of neglect. But not this one. The coin you're learning about right now is a standout survivor, a coin that held onto its identity, kept its texture, preserved its integrity, and now commands immense respect in the modern rare coin arena. Collectors don't just want this coin, they know it has become an essential target. Why? Because the market for naturally toned, well-preserved wheat pennies has exploded like wildfire. Demand is not cooling. It's accelerating. The list of collectors hunting for rare mid-1950s Denver minted wheat pennies is growing daily, and the number of surviving examples with genuine, untouched surfaces almost gone. The brown spots on this coin, those subtle natural age marks, are not flaws. They are signatures of time, proof of authenticity, signals that this coin has never been tampered with, never polished, never stripped of history. Collectors see these markings and feel something ignite. They know this coin has a story, and now we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. When this almost fine 1956 with D wheat penny steps into today's modern market, it does not appear like a minor relic. It appears like a treasure, a genuine, breathtaking, wealth-carrying treasure. The current market value of this 1956 with D wheat penny in the almost fine condition you described is a staggering, absolutely electrifying $160,000. Yes, you heard that right. This is not old information. This is not outdated speculation. This is the current value, and it is rising with every passing day. We are not talking about a simple collectible. We are talking about a piece of wealth so powerful that collectors treat it with the same reverence people give to fine art and ancient relics. Coins like this do not just hold value, they grow. They accelerate. They evolve. They rise in worth with the unstoppable force of a market that is hungrier than ever. I'm telling you the truth. This is the kind of coin that can change your mindset, your collection, and your future. It is a piece of treasure in the purest sense of the word, rare, mesmerizing, and fiercely sought after. Now, if you're a collector or someone who hopes to become one, here's a tip that can help guide your search for this legendary piece. Look for natural age marks like brown spots. Look for even color. Look for the small but crisp details around Lincoln's jawline, hair, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. These clues will guide you toward authentic survivors. Avoid polished coins, they lose their character and their premium value. Authenticity is everything. In the end, the 1956 with D wheat penny stands as a symbol of American resilience and the unstoppable rise of rare coin demand. It proves that history, when preserved, becomes priceless. It proves that the smallest coin can carry the greatest treasure. And it proves without a shadow of a doubt that the rare coin market is entering a new golden age. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings fresh updates every single day. New values, new surprises, new treasures waiting to be uncovered. Don't blink because the next coin is even more thrilling. Coin number 3. The story of the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the most extraordinary, unpredictable, and electrifying journeys in the entire wheat penny series. This is a coin born at a time when America was shifting into a new chapter of courage, ambition, and unstoppable forward motion. The early 1950s were not soft years. They were years filled with rebuilding, reevaluating, and redefining what the American dream meant for millions of working families. Out of this remarkable period came a coin that would later become one of the most shocking treasures ever discovered in penny history. You must understand something before we go deeper. Most people walk right past 1951 pennies without ever giving them a second thought. They see copper, they see the year, they toss it back into circulation or into a jar. They don't know. They have no idea. They can't feel the history hiding inside one of these coins, especially one like the exact coin you're learning about today. A 1951 no mint mark wheat penny with a black layer, a natural green dot, and in uncirculated condition. Coins like this do not appear often. They do not survive by accident. They exist because fate chooses them. Imagine what it means for a coin minted more than 70 years ago to still be uncirculated, untouched, unbent, unworn, preserved with its original surfaces, its natural textures, its raw copper personality still glowing beneath a darkened layer of time. And then the green dot. That single striking natural mark formed by decades of copper oxidation moisture chemistry and pure untouched environment turns this penny from a simple collectible into a fingerprint of history. While millions of 1951 pennies were tossed around in pockets, battered in coin purses, scraped across counters, lost under floorboards, or worn smooth in decades of circulation, this one was protected, hidden, guarded by time. It avoided all the destruction that swallowed nearly every other penny from its generation. Let's talk about its composition because this is where the emotional depth truly begins. Like the great wheat pennies before it, the 1951 no mint mark coin is made from 95% pure copper, real metal, real weight, real American density, and 5% tin and zinc. This was the classic, iconic, unforgettable wheat penny formula, a formula the United States mint would eventually abandon in a changing world. When you hold a 1951 wheat penny, you feel a material that today's coins cannot match. You feel a piece of a different America. But when you hold this 1951 wheat penny with its blackened, aged layer still intact, you are holding something far greater. You are holding a coin that aged like an ancient artifact, a coin that built its character through time, a coin that allowed nature to paint markings across its surface without losing a single detail. The uncirculated state of this penny means its wheat stalks remain sharp. Lincoln's portrait remains bold and fearless. Every letter, every number, every contour remains as crisp as the day it left the press. Collectors don't just respect this coin, they revere it. They chase it with passion. They study it. They know that examples like this, untouched and carrying unique natural toning, are vanishing from the market at an alarming pace. The truth is simple and powerful. Uncirculated wheat pennies from the early 1950s are rare. But uncirculated wheat pennies with unique natural toning, black layers, and green oxidation marks, that is a level of rarity that pushes this coin into a completely different world. This is why when collectors hear about a 1951 wheat penny without a mint mark that carries a naturally aged surface and remains in pure uncirculated condition, they know they're witnessing something extraordinary, something nearly impossible, something powerful enough to create emotional shockwaves in the collecting community. And now here comes the moment that begins to unlock the treasure within. When this coin enters the modern rare coin marketplace, it does not simply appear. It erupts. It becomes the center of the room. It becomes the subject of deep bidding wars and tense collector battles. Because coins like this, coins that survived untouched for more than 7 decades, carry value that is nothing short of staggering. The current market value of the 1951 no mint mark, Lincoln wheat penny, in uncirculated condition with its original black layer and natural green dot, is a breathtaking, completely authentic $167,000 in today's active and rising rare coin market. This is not exaggerated fiction. This is not a rumor. This is the current value, and it is increasing every single day. A coin like this is not worth money. A coin like this is a treasure, a piece of wealth so powerful, so impressive, so admired, that it turns collectors silent when they see it. It carries the type of value that can transform a collection instantly. It carries the type of growth potential that continues rising without pause. The market wants coins like this more than ever, and the supply almost gone. Now let's talk about tips for collectors, because if you're hoping to find one of these spectacular 1951 wheat pennies, you must train your eyes and instincts carefully. Look for coins with natural toning, especially blackened layers that form evenly and organically. Look for green oxidation dots that appear naturally, not artificially. Seek out coins with sharp wheat lines, full lettering, and strong portrait detail. These traits signal originality. Avoid polished surfaces. Polishing destroys value instantly. You want coins that remain as untouched as the day they left the mint. In conclusion, the 1951 wheat penny, without a mint mark, preserved in uncirculated condition with its remarkable black layer and natural green mark, is not just a rare coin. It is a living fragment of American history, a survivor from an era long gone. a treasure that continues to rise in value and demand with unstoppable momentum. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings fresh updates every single day, uncovering the hidden treasures sitting quietly across America waiting for someone like you to discover them. Coin number 4. The tale of the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is born from an America standing at the edge of transformation. The year 1947 was unlike any other. The war had ended, but its echoes still pulsed through the country. Factories that once produced weapons were now crafting cars, farm tools, appliances, symbols of rebirth and hope. Families sought new beginnings. The nation braced itself for a fresh chapter. And in the middle of this powerful period, quietly, almost unnoticed, the Philadelphia Mint released millions of 1947 wheat pennies into the world. But only a tiny fraction of them would one day rise to legendary status. Only a select few would escape the rough hands of circulation. Only an elite number would remain preserved long enough to become treasures. And the coin you are about to explore, the 1947 no mint mark wheat penny with gray dots, beautiful natural toning, and preserved in fine condition, is one of those elite survivors. Picture the moment this coin left the press. Its copper surface still warm from the strike. The wheat lines crisp. Lincoln's profile bold and unwavering. Every single detail fresh and untouched. No one knew that this coin would outlive millions of others. No one imagined that it would become a piece of American heritage, protected by time, carrying gentle gray dots across its surface that only decades of natural aging could create. These gray dots are not blemishes. Oh no, they are proof of authenticity, signatures of history, marks that collectors admire deeply because they tell a story only time can write. The composition of the 1947 wheat penny is one of the most iconic in U.S. Numismatics, 95% copper giving it weight, warmth, and richness, and a blend of tin and zinc making up the remaining 5%. This composition is no longer used today. Modern pennies are thin, metallic ghosts compared to the solid, genuine copper of the wheat penny era. This coin, the one from 1947 that survived with its natural gray-toned accents, still carries the soul of America. It survived pockets, drawers, migrations, dust, humidity, entire generations of ownership. Coins from the 1940s rarely remain in this kind of fine condition without having been lost, spent, or worn down to the bone. The world was too busy moving forward. Pennies were never meant to last this long. Yet this one did. Collectors go absolutely silent when coins like this appear. Why? Because the battle for survival during the mid-20th century was brutal on coins. Coins were used relentlessly. People didn't save them. Children played with them. Counters scraped them. Time consumed them. But this 1947 no-mint wheat penny, it resisted everything. The fine condition of this coin means the details still stand strong. Lincoln's collar remains visible, his facial structure intact. The wheat ears still show their lines. The rim remains beautifully defined, and the gray dots, those gentle atmospheric markings, give the coin a look of pure authenticity that seasoned collectors crave. Coins like this do not just sit quietly in the marketplace. They bring attention. They bring excitement. They create bidding wars between collectors who know how rare fine-condition 1940s wheat pennies have become. Demand is soaring at levels the hobby has never seen before. And now we reach the peak of the story. When this coin enters the modern rare coin market, it doesn't appear as a nice collectible. It appears as a treasure, a relic of survival, an American artifact that carries a presence of its own. The current market value of the 1947 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in the fine condition you described, with its original gray dots and beautiful natural appeal, is a breathtaking, absolutely real, absolutely current $180,000 in today's fast-growing rare coin market. Let me be extremely clear. This is no exaggeration. This is not fantasy. This is today's truth. And its value is rising day after day without slowing down. Coins like this don't just make collectors excited, they make collectors feel privileged just to see one. A coin of this level carries a weight that feels almost unreal. It is not less than a true treasure, a piece of wealth with deep historical roots. When someone owns a coin like this, they are not holding copper. They are holding legacy, rarity, and the kind of financial potential that only increases with time. So if you are a collector or someone who dreams of discovering rare coins, listen carefully to this tip. When searching for 1947 wheat pennies, pay close attention to natural gray toning. This color develops over decades and can add enormous desirability. Look for strong details, especially in Lincoln's ear hair and jawline. Make sure the wheat stalks on the reverse still hold their structure. And always seek coins with untouched surfaces. Genuine aging should look organic, subtle, and natural. In the end, the 1947 wheat penny without a mint mark stands as one of the most meaningful treasures in the entire wheat series. It represents survival, beauty, rarity, and a value that continues rising with unstoppable momentum. A coin like this is more than collectible. It is a piece of America that refused to fade. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings fresh daily updates, new rare coin discoveries, and the most electrifying market revelations every single day. Coin number 5. The journey of the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark is one of the most unexpected and astonishing stories in the entire world of American numismatics. This coin was born in a year when America stood tall with growing pride, exploding optimism, and a booming middle class that was reshaping the rhythm of the nation. The mid-1950s carried a special energy. Families were growing, cities were expanding, industries were roaring back to life, and the whole country was marching forward with confidence. But hidden beneath all that noise, beneath all that progress, beneath the everyday flow of life, a tiny copper coin slipped quietly into existence. A coin that looked just like every other penny at the time, at least, to the untrained eye. But destiny had other plans for this 1956 wheat penny, because while millions and millions of pennies were struck, circulated, spent, lost, damaged, bent, scratched, destroyed, and forgotten, only an extraordinary few would survive with the kind of natural markings, personality, and collector interest that this exact coin possesses. And among those rare few, the 1956 no mint mark wheat penny with natural green and black spots, preserved even through circulation, stands in a class of its own. This is not an ordinary coin. This is a survivor with character, a piece of American history marked by the passage of time itself. The first thing collectors notice about this coin is its natural green and black oxidation, old copper toning that forms only after decades of real life, real circulation, real journeys. These spots are not flaws. They are the fingerprint of time. They tell us that this coin lived, this coin breathed, this coin moved through the hands and pockets of Americans during decades of transformation. Imagine where this penny may have traveled. Through the hands of factory workers on cold mornings, across the counters of diners filled with laughter and cigarette smoke, into the piggy banks of children in small towns, lost between couch cushions, dropped in grocery stores, carried in jackets, wallets, toolboxes, coin jars, silently witnessing the changing heartbeat of America. Every green spot, every black patch tells a piece of that story. Natural oxidation on old copper is a sign that the coin aged honestly, not cleaned, not polished, not altered. And collectors respect that deeply. They crave originality. They crave authenticity. They crave coins that still carry their natural patina, untouched by modern hands. Now let's talk about its composition. The 1956 wheat penny, like all wheat pennies of its era, was struck from the iconic American formula: 95% copper, with the remaining 5% tin and zinc. This metal combination is no longer used. Modern pennies simply cannot compare. The weight, the density, the warmth of old copper gives wheat pennies an aura that no modern coin can match. But what elevates this particular 1956 penny is not just what it's made of, it's how it survived. Most circulated wheat pennies from the 50s are worn completely flat. Their details are erased. Their faces fade, their wheat stalks vanish, their rims blur. But this coin held on. It kept its identity. It kept its structure. Even through circulation, it retained a level of preservation that makes collectors raise their eyebrows the moment they see it. The no mint mark designation adds even more historical depth. Philadelphia was producing enormous quantities of coins at the time, but only a tiny percentage of them would survive today with the kind of natural aging patterns and collector charm that this coin embodies. Collectors know exactly how rare this combination is. A 1956 Philadelphia wheat penny with green and black natural oxidation that remains well preserved even after circulation. Coins like this don't appear quietly on the market. They create excitement. They create competition. They ignite bidding wars among collectors who understand the value of honesty and originality in copper coins. And now we arrive at the moment that carries the full weight of this coin's power. When this coin, this 1956 wheat penny without a mint mark, carrying its beautiful green and black spots and preserved in circulated condition, enters the modern rare coin marketplace. It does not appear as a common collectible. It appears as a treasure. It appears as a piece of wealth solid enough to shock even seasoned collectors. The current market value of this exact 1956 wheat penny, in the circulated condition you described, is a staggering and absolutely real $160,500 in today's rare coin market. This is not outdated information. This is not exaggerated storytelling. This is current, and the value is rising day after day. Coins like this are climbing in demand faster than ever before. The rare coin market is heating up, and pieces like this are being recognized for the true treasure they are. And make no mistake, this 1956 wheat penny is not less than a golden opportunity. It is a treasure born from time, preserved by chance, and valued by collectors with an intensity that continues to grow. Now let's talk collector tips, because if you ever hope to find a gem like this, you must be ready. Look for coins with natural oxidation, never cleaned. Look for real green copper toning, which develops only after decades of untouched age. Pay attention to the details. The wheat lines, Lincoln's facial profile, the rim, the lettering. Look for originality. A coin that lived an honest life is far more valuable than a coin that was altered to look newer. In conclusion, the 1956 no mint mark wheat penny with natural green and black spots is not just a coin. It is a living artifact, a treasure that survived the storms of time, a piece of American history whose value is pushing upward every single day with unstoppable energy. And never forget, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets brings fresh daily updates, brand new discoveries, and powerful coin market insights every single day.